Welcome to the Intuitive Rising podcast. I'm your host, Amy Brooks. This is a podcast that invites you to remember who you are, return to yourself, and rise into your highest and best soul self. Every week, I will be sharing inspiring conversations about topics that hold keys to your awakening. My mission as an international evidential psychic medium, Reiki practitioner, and intuitive mentor is to help you rise into who you were born to be. Enjoy the show. Oh, hey, welcome back. I am Amy Brooks. I'm the host of the Intuitive Rising podcast, and I'm here today to do an October guidance and energetic forecast. Can you believe it? October is my very favorite month of the whole year. So I'm jazzed because I love the energy of October in general, but I'm also kind of like in disbelief that I'm doing the energy forecast for October. So here we go. I'm going to do everything live. I like to do it that way. It's really just kind of a true channeling kind of moment, but also it really helps me trust and be confident in my ability when it comes to like card interpretations and things like that, to allow myself to kind of do it in the moment versus like a lot of prep work ahead of time. You know, before I used to do readings, this is what I'll share with you. Before I used to do client readings, I would sit down here, just me sitting in front of the computer in this chair, and I would like start pulling some tarot cards or oracle cards, and then I would write down on my piece of paper some messages for my client that I was about to see, doing this all ahead of time, which is nice and lovely. But I would do that because I felt like that was the only way to feel confident to bring messages through. It's like, okay, I do this first, and then I'm building the power by doing it. And then when that person joins me, I'm already kind of in that intuitive flow, which can work and is great. And if that's what you do too, that's awesome. But for me, I felt like I was using it almost like a crutch. Like I'm nervous to connect unless I do that first. So when I, started doing one-on-one readings and working a little bit like in more professional sense, that was one of the things that I decided to kind of move through and just show up as I am and trust that, Spirit's got my back and it's all going to happen as it should, in the moment it should, that I didn't need to do that prep work. That does not mean that I do not set my intentions or have any rituals before I do a client session, but it just means that I've kind of moved out of that place of apprehension and distrust, and I've moved towards a place of trust. So that's what I'm going to do here. That's kind of a little backstory of why I'm going to pull the cards live for you in the moment. So as always, when we do these monthly forecast, you're going to hear me shuffling because I'm going to do this in the momento. I'm going to bring through a tarot message, an oracle message, a soul's journey lesson cards. I'm going to channel the color of the month, the number of the month. Going to do all that in the moment. Oh, I see one popping out here. I'm going to go with this one. Oh, okay. Love this energy for us. I'm going to pull all the cards, what I'm going to do, and then reveal them. So stay with me. I should have this little bit of elevator music in the background right now. Scott, if you're listening, Scott is my husband who prepares my podcast for me. Add some elevator music in now, please. Okay. We've got our oracle message for today. Oh, that is powerful too. And now let's move to our soul's journey lesson cards, and then we'll get into it. And then we will get into it. I know you guys signed up to listen to me sing. Not really. How are you guys? You podcast bonus exclusive content subscribers, how are you enjoying the bonus episodes? There's 3 or 4 up there at this point. At this point, I think there'll be 4, maybe getting close to 5 bonus episodes. If this is the first time you're hearing about this, I have recently started to record some exclusive content for this podcast that is a subscription-based thing. So it is like $3.99 a month to listen to the exclusive content. which I think it's totally worth it. It's a little nice little way, manageable way to support me, to be a friend of the podcast. And there's some bonuses in doing this too. So not only do you get these exclusive episodes, you're also going to be, my little early birds. So you're going to get early bird specials for, maybe reading specials, group events, master classes that come out in the future as well. You might be my guinea pigs at times. So when I am looking for someone to come on and do something with or practice with or offer a reading to, that's what I mean by kind of exclusive content. So I think the trade-off is well worth it there for $3.99 a month. So if that's interesting to you, you can head on over. If you're an Apple listener, you can go to Apple Podcast and you will see the bonus content there. Okay, so I'm just looking up for my tarot message in the guidebook. Okay, so yeah, this is a very reciprocal kind of energy. We've got the Six of Pentacles come in for us for the month of October, which is really beautiful. This intuitively comes to me. This feels like this will be an abundant month. Now remember, abundance does not just have to do with money and finances. It has to do with, an abundance of joy, an abundance of happiness, an abundance of good news, and an abundance of contentment. Abundance is a state of mind. So keep that in mind as well. It's not just about the money. Pentacles is the suit of coins, right? Material. So it does have to do with our kind of working lives, our money, our finances. And for some people, this could very much be speaking to that. But just overall, there's a sense of the stuff that we have, including our sense of abundance, in terms of how happy we are, what we have to give, the sense of contentment and community comes through very, very strong. Feels like it will be central and important to us in the month of October. So here in Canada, October is when we celebrate Thanksgiving. So this is like really perfect kind of Thanksgiving energy. This is about giving and receiving. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can see the card I'm holding up. If you're listening and you're not watching me, there's a woman standing up and there's like two people sitting on the ground looking up towards her, and she's got what looks like a gift box in each hand, and they're kind of spaced out like you would think scales, right, where one is higher than the other. There's kind of like a little bit of a balancing act. So this comes in about being open to give, but also don't forget to be open to receive. There's a very reciprocal kind of energy that comes in for us in the month of October. So be open to receive, okay? Be open to receive the praise, the compliments, whatever it could be. In that moment, I was seeing somebody hold a door open for somebody else, or kind of, like make sure the elevator stays open in time for you to run through there, right? Like those nice little, compassionate, courteous kind of things come through very strong for me. So I would encourage you to lean into that energy a little bit more, right? Lean into this energy of giving, of being helpful and compassionate, and also witnessing that and observing it in other people and being open to receive that back too. Okay, so this is reciprocal give and take energy, but it's not like based in expectations. So sometimes in the society, right, we can kind of think, okay, I scratch your back, then you have to scratch mine, right? Or there's an expectation around what we give. I want us to move away from that a little bit. I want you to give what you can, whether that's your time, whether that's your love, your compassion, a listening ear, a shoulder to cry on, holding the elevator or the door open without needing or without having expectations is what I meant to say. We need to lean into that a little bit more, right? That's having an abundance of joy in your spirit. When you can do something just for the sake of doing it without having an expectation of that person, then you need to do that for me, right? The more you're like step into that energy, the more you're going to see that come back to you with other people or with something you've been waiting on or something you've been working on. So just be really open to be having a giving heart, right? Give what you can in any way, shape, or form. harmonious, cooperation, community. Be a great time to have a get together, would be a great time to go to a community event, would be a great time for travel is what comes in as well. I'm seeing like somebody with, like a roof rack on their car with like kind of suitcases on it. So maybe there's a road trip coming up. Maybe there's like, hey, let's go away from the weekend. Let's kind of go to that Airbnb or that cottage in the woods. It doesn't matter. It just feels like this is a time to really sink in and root down into a state of gratitude. A state of gratitude. It comes through like recognizing what you already have, right? So sometimes we get into the scarcity mindset of, well, I can't give everything because I can't give anything away because that means less for me, or if I do this, then there's less for me, or I need to be worried about this kind of reciprocal energy that the universe operates on, right? Like people that are really tapped into the flow state of the universe know that like, okay, I give this little bit, it will all come back to me. This is something that I actively work on myself. And if you've listened, I don't even remember if I've ever talked about this on this podcast, but I believe I have. This kind of realization that I had about a year and a half ago about how my lifelong fear of bees and wasps and hornets started to lessen gradually to the point where one day I just had this awareness of, oh my God, like I'm not as freaked out as I normally would have been when there's like a wasp flying around my head, right? Like last September, literally, this is so funny. We had an infestation of hornets in our home. Because on the side of our house, like there's a piece of the siding, there was like a little gap or just something that had come away. And the hornets were like going up underneath the siding and getting into our home through the ventilation system. And so last September, I'd be sitting down here doing my work, recording my podcast, and they would be flying around my head. And I was like, dude. But dude, I mean, I'm talking to source here. I'm like, what is this about? What are you trying to get through to me right now? Not everything has a spiritual meaning, but when you are walking the spiritual path, you do kind of take a moment to go, okay, why is this happening, right? Like, what is this trying to tell me? Especially because I was so terrified of wasp and hornets. But the reason I'm telling you that is because the realization I had is that my fear of wasp, hornets, and, all things generally that has stingers like that was around the scarcity mindset. Because in my mind's eye, during a Reiki healing session, I saw the image of a bumblebee kind of just gently kind of going towards the flower, taking what it needed, right? Leaving when it was full, going somewhere else. It wasn't this like panicky kind of energy of like, I have to take everything because there might not be another one. It's just kind of this trust. They trust. They have a purpose. They know what they're doing. They're like, I just need a little bit of this and a little bit of this, and this is what I do. And that was a message for me because I was tapped into and rooted into the scarcity mindset of, okay, but what if I give and I give and I give and I don't receive anything back? How many of us struggle with that sometimes, right? But when you're tapped into the flow state of the universe, you realize that everything is giving and taking at all times. We don't have to be worried about scarcity so much. Okay? Okay, thank you, Spirit, for that message, the 6 of Pentacles. Let's move forward to our oracle message of this month, and it comes by way of the Goddess Power Oracle from Colette Baron Reed, and we've got a beautiful card. It is Mary, Mother Mary, and underneath her name, it says miracles. We could use some of those, Mother Mary. We could use some miracles. So you can see really kind of where this energy is going in the month of October. It feels pretty good. It's like being open to giving, being open to receiving. You think about the divine feminine, right? Mary Magdalene, all about the divine. She's preaching the divine feminine, right? The gift and the beauty of the divine feminine is about being in that flow state, giving and receiving, trusting in the process. Very much linked to the 6 of Pentacles energy. So it makes perfect sense that she's coming in for us today. Let's read the empowerment message that comes through from her. She's here to remind you of all the amazing wonders that are everywhere in your life right now. What did I say? Gratitude, flow. Focus on that in October, very much so. Look around you, especially at all the synchronistic events that have already taken place. Ever since you were born, events and opportunities have come together to support you, guide you, show you love, and present the world as you see it. Look closely and see the hand of the divine working on your behalf. Thank you, Mother Mary. You are a powerful co-creator, and so you are responsible and accountable for the thoughts, feelings, and beliefs that seed your field of dreams. Ooh, that seed your field of dreams. This reminds me of something I just wrote down this morning. Let me find you, because this is a synchronistic event, because I wrote this morning, and it's coming up in here. And she's saying, pay attention to those synchronistic events. Intentions are the seed you plant that determine what will grow. Wrote that a few hours ago. Here, Mother Mary is bringing that forward to us again. Remember, miracles are uncanny evidence that from the invisible world, life springs into form without any reasonable cause for the effect. Mary reminds you of miracles that you too can call into being. You don't need a cause or any evidential fact or calculation to believe and then see the miracle rise up in the conditions of your life. When Mary appears, you are reminded that you will never run out of miracles. Okay, I love that because it is so very aligned with the energy of the Six of Pentacles. The scarcity mindset. Scarcity mindset might come forward for us in this month. We might be tested in that. We might be tested in our ability to be open to receive, to tap into the flow state of abundance. Remember, abundance is a state of mind. It's not just about accumulating wealth. It's a state of mind, and it is your birthright. I'm reminded in this moment of a newborn baby. Yeah, that newborn baby cries, but it cries because it has needs, and it is not afraid to tell you that it has needs. It's frustrated probably because it can't tell you in the way that, we respond with words. But it's not sitting there feeling insecure about needing your attention or needing more of this or needing more of that. That newborn baby knows that it has birthright to receive what it needs. And there is some wisdom there for us. Okay, so our soul's journey lesson card. What is the lesson our soul is learning? Through, this energy of the gratitude, the scarcity mindset, being open to receive, to the flow of life, through the Six of Pentacles and Mother Mary, we've got the guilt card. How very interesting. The card says, I think I need a drink of water. I release any beliefs that no longer assist in my soul's growth. Okay, so how connected is that to this message about scarcity mindset? Or, I scratch your back, you must scratch mine. Or I'm afraid to give what I have or share my resources because I'm afraid I won't have enough, because I am not in flow with my own inherent birthright of abundance. So this is about releasing that belief system. So when I said we might be tested a little bit this month, right? With yearning and desiring this connection and this harmony, not only with the people that we interact with in our life, but with ourselves, with our soul. It's kind of like this imbalance between the head and the heart. We're doing some cord cutting this month in October. Okay, and what that means is we are energetically, I feel very, very strongly to encourage some energetic hygiene this month. We should always be having good energetic hygiene, spiritual hygiene, but this month of October feels especially so. So this little, monkey mind, the ego self, might be talking a little bit loud this month and, bringing up some fears, bringing up some shadow, bringing up some things from your unconscious about your sense of worthiness, about what you have, about your ability to give, without expectation, about what you're worth, about your potential. And your ego voice might get a little bit louder this month. So the spiritual hygiene is important. Water is important, is what I hear in the moment, in the month of October. Visualizing, our energy being cleansed through water. So we can do this by showering, having a bath, listening to water. If you have one of those kind of sound machines, it can be washing your hands, or like it can be anything. It can be going to jump in that swimming pool or that ocean if you're brave in October. Cold plunging, right? Water is important. This is part of the energetic hygiene guidance that comes in for you in the month of October. So when you do seek water, right, this is a really good idea to, especially if you've been somewhere, maybe like work or in a large social gathering or at the shopping mall or what have you, where you're potentially picking up on other people's energy, to come home and do some sort of energetic hygiene. So if it's kind of like the middle of the day and it's not time that you would normally have a bath or shower, you don't have time to do that, immersing your hands in a sink full of soapy water or washing your hands with intention. As you're doing that, right, thinking about all the energy that you've picked up throughout the day is being washed away and spiraling down the sink, right? It's this cleansing. So intention is everything always, but in the month of October, I want you to really get on track with your spiritual hygiene. So we're gonna use water. We're gonna use the element of water for a way to cleanse and cut that cord and cleanse the energy, the energetic connections that we have. Also the importance of drinking lots of water. Stay hydrated. You also can imagine yourself drinking that water, right? And how that's cleansing as well. So it's really about what you're thinking about and the intention that you're putting out there as you're doing these things with the element of water. Okay. So that's going to be really important for you. Sometimes one thing that I will do, I should be more on top of this. Actually, yesterday I saw an astrologer on Instagram talk about this new moon in Virgo. And that is upon us today. So you're listening to this at the end of September, but I'm recording this mid-September. And today is the new moon in Virgo. And she was talking about how consistency is a spiritual practice. And I had commented like, oh my goodness, as a Virgo rising and a Virgo North node, this just took me to church. Like, consistency as a spiritual practice is absolutely something that my soul is learning and desperately needs is consistency. So we want to be consistent this month of October. We're going to be consistent with our energetic hygiene. We're going to be mindful of what drains us, who drains us. We're going to tap into our bodies this month a little bit deeper and with more intention, because we're going to need it, because we're going to need to be more grounded if this monkey brain, this ego voice gets a little bit louder. Right? We're going to need that grounding. So the water is really important. Getting your hands dirty would be a great practice as well. Just dropping into your body and getting out of your head is guidance for you in the month of October. Okay, so now I'm just going to take a moment now that we're done with the cards, and oh my goodness, there we go. I was thinking in my mind, give me the color, Spirit, give me the color, and the first thing I saw, very, very bright, was orange. Orange, orange, orange is our color for October. Love it. Love all things fall and pumpkins. I know maybe Spirit's being a little bit funny with the color orange and the month of October, but I will say the connection that Spirit is really driving home with this color orange and the month of October is our solar plexus. So the solar plexus chakra is orange. Okay, so this is our gut. This is why this importance in grounding and being in our body is so important, because our solar plexus needs a little bit of help this month. Okay, so this is where our gut and our instincts and our will it's all in here. Okay, our belief in self. There's a mosquito flying around, in case you just noticed that on YouTube. If not, forget I said anything. Our willpower, our sense of self and strength, our inner will comes forward, this solar plexus. You know, solar is the sun. The sun, sometimes it's orangey, yellow, but in this case, the solar plexus. So our connection to sun, and sun is life-giving. Sun, like even when you think about our astrology chart and where our sun sign is, that's life-giving. That's kind of like, you know, your personality and your life path to a certain degree. There's a lot of moving parts with astrology, but your sun is really important. And that's why most people, when you say, what's your sign, they'll tell you your sun sign, because that's the one we talk about the most. So just like the sun, you know, the sun helps everything grow and evolve. And anything that's coming up this month that's keeping you from that expansion is being called upon to be looked at a little bit closer. Where are you feeling like you're not able to expand in this month? Where is the area of your life that you feel like you're being held back in some way based on your inner will, your inner strength, your sense of worth? Okay, and then focus on that, set intentions around it, but also, you know, connect to that color, connect to that earthy, rooty, orange, rusty color, you know, connect to the earth, get outside a lot, breathe the air. October, I find like the energy of October, I always feel like I kind of come alive in October. There's like a crispness. Now I know, like, you know, the fall represents a transformation as things are kind of dying, right? But there's this rebirth. The spring, the promise of spring brings rebirth. And so to me, some people are like, oh, I hate fall because everything's dying, right? I like the spring when everything's budding and growing. But there's a beauty in that ability to let go and surrender to the process, trusting that the rebirth is on the way. So orange, tap into your solar plexus, your inner will, your gut feelings, your body this month. You know, connect to the color orange in terms of maybe you want to wear the orange shirt, wear the orange pair of shoelaces, eat more orange colored foods, right? Surround yourself with that color. Visualize that color in your meditations. Tap into the color orange. Ooh, okay, number comes to me next. I didn't even know what order I was going to go in, but I saw a number. Okay, we got 13 coming in as our number for the month of October. 13. Is there a Friday the 13th in October? Oh my God. So I just looked at my calendar. There's a Friday the 13th in October. Amazing. Okay, because as I was tapping in, like I see this 13, I'm like, oh, kind of like Friday the 13th. Interesting. And then I heard, yeah, Friday the 13th, right? So there is a Friday the 13th. So I don't know what is happening around that time, if we got some moon stuff happening or what, but that feels like a really significant day for us risers. So whatever you're doing on Friday the 13th, make sure that it's something that, you know, fuels you up, right? That like really brings in that feeling of abundance where you feel happy and joyful. This would be perfect. If you've got that Friday open, this would be the perfect time to do something for you that makes you feel good. Okay? Set your intentions. Work on your energetic hygiene. But also, the number 13 feels quite magical. So see how that shows up. If you're going to see it on a billboard, or, you know, the car in front of you, or you're going to get a receipt back when you check out at the supermarket. It's like 1313. Maybe you're going to just see those numbers, right? 1313 would be like military time, right? The 113. Pay attention to the 13 speaking to us this month. But October 13th feels extra special to us. Oh, this is super weird. I don't know anything about this animal, but oh my goodness, you know what? I'm on my phone here, and I am about to look up this animal as like a spiritual totem. And guess what? It was 2:22 on my phone. Now, in this month of September, if you remember and you listen to the energetic forecast for September, our number for September was 22. Little wink to that. Okay. Oh, interesting. So let me tell you what came up as our September totem. It was a mink, M-I-N-K. And I was like, really? A mink? Not an animal that I would think of very often. So that's very interesting. That's very specific. So I am looking online for... Oh, interesting. Okay, listen. So it says, in modern times, the spiritual meaning of mink has evolved to represent balance, adaptability, and power in our daily lives. Remember the Six of Pentacles, giving and receiving, the image of the scales? The scales also make a lot of sense for October, as most of October is in the sign of Libra. And Libra is literally, the symbol is scales. Isn't this amazing how it all connects like this? Adaptability and balance and power. Minks are often used as symbols of strength and resilience, and they are believed to help us navigate through life's challenges with ease. Remember I said, it's going to be important to ground, to find that connection, to strengthen to your inner will with your solar plexus. My mind is blown as I'm listening to this because like inner will, strength, resilience, it's all connected. Minks are also seen as symbols of resourcefulness and creativity, reminding us that we have the power to adapt and overcome any obstacles that comes our way. I feel like I'm taking a bow. That was amazing. That was a beautiful, flowy kind of energy that came through for us in the month of October. I, for one, am excited about October for many reasons. I'm excited to tap into this energy of orange and the number 13 and this mink energy. Who would have thought? Connecting us to our sacral, no, not our sacral, but we can work on our sacral chakra too. Our solar plexus chakra. Whew. Thanks for being here, risers. Happy October. See you next week. If you have enjoyed this episode, please consider hopping on over to wherever you listen to your podcast and giving it a 5-star review. Thank you so much in advance. If you'd like to keep in touch, please head over to my website, theintuitiverising.com, to keep up with all the things that I have been doing. I also have a private Facebook community for people just like you. It's called the Intuitive Rising Community. All you gotta do is request to join and I will let you in. Keep rising.